Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. I hope everyone is having a happy crochet day. So to start this video, I just have a little chit chat of some things that I discovered when I was out and about searching for my yarn series for this episode. And I went to Michael's and I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. If you're in the Muncie, PA area, they are clearancing a lot of stuff in their craft department where the yarn is. And I really was a little upset because I thought, please don't downsize your yarn department. They had all their knitting needles on clearance. They didn't have any crochet hooks on sale or clearance, just the knitting needles. I don't knit, so I didn't buy any knitting needles, but I did buy a couple things that I thought I'd show you real quick in case you're near a Michael's. I'm not sure if they're all doing this or if they're doing something in that particular store. She said they were just moving the store around, but when I walked around the store, I didn't see no yarn in any other area. So a little kind of upset if they downsize that yarn department, because in my area, it is getting extremely hard to find yarn. When I was there, I seen they had their tassel makers. They have a small one, and then they have the large one. They were on clearance. I think the big one was $5 and the small one was $3. My receipt isn't in the bag, so I remember I didn't pay anything over $5 for what I was getting because I was really looking for some good buys. So if you ever need a tassel maker, these are great to just have on hand, and if you can get them at clearance prices, that's wonderful. But that was at the Muncie, Pennsylvania store. The other item I picked up was a cross-stitch needle kit where you get that threader and then you get all those needles. And this was only $1. And there's 2, 4, 6 cross-stitch needles. And I thought this is wonderful because anytime I need a needle, I can never find them. So I thought for $1, I picked a couple of these up. So I thought that was a great value. And then I did pick up a bigger pom-pom maker. This is a 2-in-1 pom-pom maker. Now, I can't remember what I paid for it. It was either $5 or $8. I think it was $5 because I wasn't going to pay over $5 for anything. I was just buying stuff I really didn't need, but would like to have on hand if I ever needed to make pom-poms or tassels. So that's why I picked this up. But if you knit, it's a great time to visit that store. Again, it's the Muncie, PA store. I'm not sure if all the stores are doing it, but if you're in the Muncie area, you might want to check out that store. So please, Michaels, please don't downsize your yarn department in our area. And then the other thing was I went to Walmart because I had a project in mind and I thought, well, I think Walmart sells that yarn. So I went to the Mill Hall, Pennsylvania Walmart store, and then I got frustrated because I found one yarn that was beautiful and they only had one skein, and then another yarn, they had enough yarn, but I noticed the color variants were different. So I looked and the dye lots were different and I could tell there was a color difference, so I didn't purchase that yarn. And then when I looked at the other yarn, they just didn't have enough of the yarn for the project. They might have had 2 skeins of this or 1 skein of that. I'm going to have to start ordering online again. And it's very frustrating when you love to crochet and you just can't find the yarns that you want to use in store. And I love going in store. I love seeing the yarn, feeling the yarn, touching the yarns. And when you order online, it's fun when your yarn order comes, but if you're ordering a new yarn for the first time and you don't like it, then it's very frustrating. So that is why I started the new yarn swatch series, to try to help people see what some of these yarns are really going to look like worked up. So one of my light bulbs just blew out, so sorry about that. So I hope you can still see everything okay. Now the yarn I chose for my yarn swatch video this episode was from Michael's. It's called Soft and Shiny. So let me show you one of the colors I chose. I chose 8 different colors. And this is a yarn that I overlooked every time I went into Michael's. So when I go in for a specific reason, then I really take my time and try to look at all the yarns. So this is again Soft and Shiny. It comes in a 207 yard skein 4 ounces, 190 meters, 113 grams. It's a 4 medium weight yarn, and I find it was more of a thin 4 medium weight yarn. It is made in China. It is wash and dryable, and it's 100% acrylic. Now, the one thing I did notice about this yarn was on the yarn label, they were recommending different hook sizes for the different projects. So this label says it recommends a 4 millimeter or a US G6. So now on the other skeins, it was recommending a US size I9 or 5.5 millimeter. So I'm not sure why the labels are recommending different hook sizes. So that is something you might want to play around with. Now I went right down the middle, and for all my samples, I used a size H8 or 5 millimeter crochet hook. So I thought the size H hook worked perfectly with this yarn. So let's go over to the table and let's take a closer look at the 8 colors I purchased and all the samples that I made. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first color. This is the one I just showed you. Again, it's called the Soft and Shiny, and this is available at Michael's Craft Store. So what I liked was this yarn had a really nice twist to the yarn. So let me see if I can get it up there so you can see it. It just had a really nice texture to it when I crocheted with it. So I liked that. I liked that it was really soft, and I liked that it had a shine to it. I was very happy with this yarn. So let's take a look. This is the first color. This is color number 28, Party. And when you look at this yarn, you can see all these beautiful colors. You have yellow and orange and red and purple and blue. Just absolutely gorgeous rainbow colors. So here's my first sample. So here's what the yarn looks like. And remember, I'm showing you just one individual stitch pattern. So depending on which stitch pattern you're going to use, you'll see that there could be a difference on how those colors are created in the pattern. So this is the Stitch of the Week number 50, the Quick and Easy V-Stitch. So again, all of our Stitch of the Week patterns are free. If you go to creativegrandma.net, click on Stitch of the Week, and you can download the pattern right to your computer for free. We have over 150 different stitch patterns you can choose from. You can download one or you can download them all. So very easy, 1 row repeat. You're just going to repeat row 2. So let me hold it up and you can see it's just a lacy V-stitch. And this yarn has short color burst, and it just blends the yarn. Now this might be too busy for some people. Now this yarn has short color burst, so it blends all those colors together. So I would say that's about maybe 3 inches. So 3-inch color burst as you're pulling that yarn out. Some may be a little smaller. That pink is a little smaller, but you can see how short the color bursts are. So again, this is Stitch of the Week number 50, the Quick and Easy V-Stitch. And then the yarn is color number 28, Party. So again, you can compare the yarn to the sample. So the next color I chose in the Soft and Shiny was this beautiful multicolored blues with white. And this is color 25, and it's called Blue Moon. So let me lay the yarn down and grab my sample. Now this sample is what I want to explain about when you're buying these multicolored yarns. It all depends on the stitch pattern you're using. It all depends on how wide your sample is. You're still going to get several different looks depending on what stitch pattern you're using. So this bottom stitch pattern here is Stitch of the Week number 57, the Loopy Stitch. This is also a very easy 1 row repeat. So let me hold this up and you can see how beautiful, lacy, you can see that stitch definition, and that twisting of the yarn just gives it a really pretty look. I really loved working with this yarn. So that is how it worked up. It was starting to form columns going up and down. Now you have to remember, if you're working on a wider project, then this pattern is going to change because your colors are going to go over, and when they come back, they may be in a different place. It just depends on how wide your project is. I believe I chained 35 to start this sample. So that is kind of the width of a scarf, and this is probably the pattern that would stay out throughout the pattern. It could change. I didn't work up the whole skein to see, but it seemed to be keeping this pattern. So then I thought, okay, I'm not sure if I like how that pattern's going. Now maybe if I was making a long scarf, it would just create a really pretty column effect. Then it would be really pretty. It would keep the design throughout. Then I would like it. If the pattern changes higher up when I'm making it, then I might get upset. But then I decided to do a half double crochet, just a few rows, just to show you how different the yarn can look by changing it to just a simple stitch pattern. So the lacy pattern, you can see this is the design, and you change it to a simple half double crochet, and look how that design changes. This design is more vertical, and this one goes horizontal. So you have to play around with the stitch patterns to really get the perfect stitch pattern for the yarn you want to use. But this is a great example of how differently the same yarn can look depending on the stitch pattern that you're using. So that was my second sample. And again, this was color number 25, Blue Moon. The next color I chose was this beautiful neutral tones of whites, gray, and this light brown, very beautiful. I really didn't know if I would like this because I'm not a person who uses a lot of browns, but boy, when I worked this up, I could see this as a fall sweater or just a beautiful Afghan. This is color number 26, and it's called Shimmer. So let me grab that sample. So here is my stitch sample that I made using this yarn, and this was stitch of the week number 43, and this is the floret stitch. Now this pattern is a 2-row repeat, but very, very easy to do, and this just blended together beautifully. I loved how this sample come out. So I just thought this was really pretty, the way those colors just kind of blended all over, had a really even disbursement of that color, and it's just a beautiful stitch pattern, and you can see that little bit of texture in this stitch pattern. And this would be wonderful for maybe a baby Afghan, maybe a full-size Afghan, even sweaters, cardigans, or maybe a scarf. You can see it made that way or sideways, either lengthwise or sideways. It would look beautiful as a scarf. So that is my sample. And again, this was color number 26, Shimmer. The next color I chose was color number 23. I think it's Baroque. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Baroque. It's beautiful shades of purple, lavender, and gray. And this worked up really, really pretty. I was surprised how pretty this was when I worked it up. So let me grab that sample. So here is the sample I made in this yarn, and again I felt that the colors were dispersed evenly throughout this stitch pattern, and again it all depends on what stitch pattern you're using of what this yarn's going to look like. So this is stitch of the week number 23. It's called the raised shell stitch pattern, and you can see in my sample how those raised shells pop up. And then with this multicolor, they're a little harder to see, but the effect is just beautiful. You can see it has texture. Little harder to see the raised shell, but it's just an amazing pattern. Now this stitch pattern is a 4-row repeat, but it's just absolutely gorgeous when worked up. So again, remember, all these stitch patterns that I'm showing you are free downloads on our website. So again, this sample was made with color number 23, Baroque. So let's move on to the next color. The next color is beautiful blacks, whites, and grays. And this is color number 24, Starry Night. You can see all those beautiful contemporary colors. If you like contemporary designs, then you're going to love this black, white, and gray. So let me show you the sample. So here's my sample, and I just chose to use a traditional granny square for my sample in this version. And I noticed that the colors seem to be distributed evenly spaced around my granny square. Sometimes you have to be careful because when you're using a certain yarn, you don't want all the colors in one section and it's not evenly distributed. So I was happy to see that the colors were on all 4 sections. Now, some people have a really hard time with multicolors and they shy away from them. So it's really fun to experiment with some of these yarns. Now with this granny square, if you love contemporary designs, I can see so many different possibilities. I can see starting with one of these 3 colors, either black, gray, or white as the center, use the multicolor, and then bring that color out as the outside border of what you used in the center. You could do just the multicolored square and border it with a black, which would really be contemporary. It would make that white and gray really pop out. The other thing you can do with multicolors is maybe a ripple afghan is wonderful for multicolors. So I would suggest play around with different ripple stitches, see which one disperses the colors evenly across your work, and then separate that ripple pattern with a solid color of some of these colors in the multicolor, whether it's this color or one of the other ones. It's great ideas of ways to use multicolors. So again, that was my sample, and this was color number 24, Starry Night. The next color is color number 52. It's called Echo Forest. To me, it's more of a camouflage color, but it's so soft. And I just thought this is a wonderful color. If you like those camouflage look designs and yarn colors, or you love those earthy green and brown tones, you're gonna love this. So here's the yarn. And here's my sample. And this is Stitch of the Week number 72, the Grandma 2 stitch. So you can see here a little more detail of that stitch pattern. And this is what it looks like done in the Echo Forest. So I'm going to hold it up. Now the colors are running horizontal. You can see that this is a simple stitch pattern with single and half double crochet stitches. So it's just a very simple pattern, but you can see a little bit of texture from those half double crochet loops. And I can see that the colors again do not seem to be clumping together. They seem to run across, and then when you come back they're changing, so they're separated. So again, I'm not sure if the project was wider, if these colors would clump together and make a design. It all depends on how wide your project is, what stitch pattern you're using, so on and so forth. But if you were making a scarf, again, most of my samples are 30-some stitches wide, so this would give you an idea, if you use this stitch pattern, what a scarf would look like. I think it's a beautiful pattern, especially if you have a man or a woman who loves to hunt and fish and they love to wear those camouflage type patterns. This is really pretty, and it's soft and shiny, so it's very soft against the skin. So that is my sample, and again, that was color 52, Echo Forest. So I have 2 more colors to show you. This next color is a beautiful rainbow color, and this is color number 27, Circus. You're seeing pink, you're seeing blue, you're seeing green, you're seeing a touch of yellow, and then where those colors cross, it looks like a golden brown. You're seeing some purple. So very pretty. Again, color number 27, Circus. So let me grab my sample. So this stitch pattern was made using Stitch of the Week number 222 row by row shell stitch pattern. So here it is, and I thought this come out really, really pretty. I love the mix of colors. I'm going to hold it up. It's a little lacy design, but you can see how beautiful those colors went together. And again, I can see the twisting of that yarn. See how the way the yarn twists just adds some definition and just a beautiful look to any stitch pattern that you're doing. And I can't say enough about this yarn because I never used it before, and when I go to Michael's I always walk past it for some reason, never really paid attention to it. And now since I'm working with it, I'm thinking of so many projects I want to make using this yarn. And I think it is a wonderful yarn, especially if you want to make anything for a baby, like a baby Afghan, baby sweater, hat, anything that you want to be really soft against a baby's skin. This is the perfect yarn. So that is my sample. And again, you can see how those beautiful colors just blend together. And that was color number 27, Circus. So one last color to show you. So the last color I chose in the soft and shiny was this beautiful color number 63, Teenage Dreams. You can see this beautiful blue, pink, and purple combination. Just absolutely beautiful. And it's very stunning worked up. So here is my sample. So I'm looking at this sample, and to me it's kind of looking like my colors want to go diagonal in this pattern. So again, this is one of those patterns that you really have to see if you're going to like how the design comes out. I love the colors together. I think they're beautiful. And this sample here was made using Stitch of the Week number 20, and I used the Fancy Grit Stitch. This was the Fancy Grit Stitch, and again, all these patterns are free on our website. So let's take a closer look. You can see that beautiful texture of the stitch pattern, and it just is so wonderful to work this yarn up. It just slides across your hook really easy. That little bit of shine in this yarn just makes it so your stitches just slide back and forth, easy and fast to work with. And I'm not a very fast crocheter, but I do like the ease of when a yarn glides across my hook smoothly, and I can just work on my project at my own pace and have no problems. So absolutely love this yarn. So those are the 8 skeins of the Loops and Threads soft and shiny yarn that I featured today in the yarn swatch video. Make sure you leave a comment in the comments section and tell me which one of these beautiful 8 colorways was your favorite. Now this yarn should be available at your local Michael's craft store, and hopefully it is available on michaels.com. You can order it online. So I hope this video has got you inspired to pick up your crochet hook today and start crocheting. I hope this video has been helpful so you can see several different ways this yarn looks like crocheted up. So until next time everyone, stay inspired and happy crocheting.